So our burger queen, Anby, is finally here. And she also got a noticeable upgrade from a cheeseburger into a Big Mac. But as a content creator, there's a bad news that I gotta tell you guys, is that this Big Mac is not worth it without a combos. And we all know who the fries is. And trust me, I'm the one who's surprised by my own test result the most, is that Halumasa is stronger than Anby's. I wish I was just trying to bait you guys into listening to this video, but no, it's the actual result I got from my test. My Halumasa literally used exactly the same team and the same gear and the same W engine on the same deadly assault stage, which is this electric weakness one. And keep in mind that my Anby's is level 58. The skill levels are roughly the same as Halumasa, even though she's 2 levels away from Halumasa, but her skill levels are also roughly the same as Halumasa, so she could be a little bit stronger than this if I max her levels. I got 28.6k on Halumasa and 27.6k on Anby, and it's the best run that I've got out of like 10-20 run. The other highly discussed topics that got brings up a lot is that Nicole Astra pair is better than Qingyi Astra when you're pairing with Anby, because Anby took the loss of on-field time. But the test said the otherwise. This Nicole team got 25.8k, but it's actually pretty close to the Qingyi team. So this Nicole Astra team is definitely solid, but definitely not better than Qingyi Astra team. And it seems like Apo also get very similar result in the RYU defense. And I gotta say that playing with Nicole Astra team is so much harder than Astra Qingyi team. What I believe what actually happens is that there are some factors that couldn't be reflected on the spreadsheet and the calculation, but I gotta be clear that I think all the calculation with the characters are excellent baseline to hypothesize on the theory, so that we have an establishment to testing out. And I have high respect for people who do those maths, because I'm pretty bad at math even though I'm Asian. However, I do see a drastic amount of improvement with her signature weapon, making her signature weapon pretty much a must pull. So the TLDR of this signature weapon is that aside from the base stat of 48% of critical damage, it gives 60% critical damage on top of that, and another 20% electric damage. And the reason why I mentioned this signature weapon so early in the videos is that one of her core passive would not only just increase 25% damage, but also 30% of critical damage from Anby when you attack with Aftershock, which Trigger and Palkra are the only 2 units that could benefit from this. And boy, you're gonna lose more than 30% critical damage for the entire team. I've never claimed any signature weapon a must pull. I don't even pull from Miyabi's signature weapon. Without her signature weapon, you're not only losing her own personal damage, you're also losing an entire team's damage. So the verdict is, unless you're planning to pull for Trigger, please don't pull for Anby's, cause you're gonna get more improvement from Halumasa's signature weapon than getting an Anby's. Of course, I talked about this in the meta perspective, but even with the rifle pulls, you should still get a Trigger to have better time playing with Anby's team. And there's no other unit in the Zenless Zone 0 that is so dependent on each other's synergy. So basically, the less crit damage you have, the worse it's gonna perform in the Trigger team. Any signature weapon with high crit value like the Evelyn's one are pretty good for Anby's, but Brimstone is less recommendable than the Mikado Desire, because Brimstone doesn't have any crit value unless you're playing Anby without Trigger. So if you have Evelyn, Halumasa or Zhuyuan's signature weapon, then Anby's signature is not so much a must, even though the differences between personal damage is still pretty high. But do keep in mind that in Deadly Assault, you could use one W engine to 3 different teams. The same concept could apply to the disc. And let's get into her mechanics. The thing is, she could apply a silver star marks on the enemy, and when you charge this silver mark to the max, you could tap the skill 3 times to activate it. And after you finish these 3 combos, you would get a lightning strike, which count as additional attacks, which is her main sources of damage. To put it in simple term, it's just like anomaly, but in additional attacks. And I suggest you to just smash the button until you get used to it, because if you don't press the skill fast enough, the combo is gonna get disrupted and you are not gonna get the additional attacks. But here's the takeaway. Dodge counter is her money shot, because each dodge counter would fill up half of it, and you only need 2 dodge attacks to get the full stacks. The other way is just basic attack. You could button smash it all the way, or you could practice basic, then hold on second basic attacks until she finish all the combos, so it's gonna be easier on your fingers, and you can hold it on any given time after the second basic. It's a very forgiving combos to execute. Finishing one sequence of combos would fill up half of it, so you only need 2 strings of basic attacks to fill up the silver star. Another practical way to do it is dodge counter, then keep basic attacking, and you're gonna get about 90% of the charge, and you could fill that up with quick assist, chain attacks, or even a simple basic attack. I also see people talks about how you could dodge counter, then paste the basic attack like what you would do with Soldier 11 to get a fully charged silver star. It's definitely doable, but I find it very unforgiving and probably not worth it to learn it, because chain attack and quick assist is part of Anby's natural rotation. Holding skill would also get her full stack. And my tip is, after you triple tap the skill, you could hold it on the 3rd time you press it, and it would immediately get back to the full stack. And the last way is simply just out, nothing special. And the basic concept is you keep DPSing with your Anbys on the field, and when your enemies is about to break, you wanna save the silver star, energy and ultimate, and disperse all of them during the stun window. And yeah, you could do 4 additional attacks or lightning bolt, however you call it, in a single stun window. Let me show you guys. Achieving 12 slash is really about pre-building the silver star, then you triple skill it, and also about managing your energy and your ultimate to utilize them in the stun window. But if you're doing 12 slash for every single time, you're probably doing something wrong. In fact, my best run consists 6 slash in one of the stun window to chase my 4th stun before the time is out. But usually you wanna use this silver star attacks for a few times outside of the stun window, depends on how fast you stun the enemy, so don't stress over that. Like, I could use up to 4 to 5 times when I'm playing with Nicole, but only once or not using it at all when I'm playing with Qingyi. And speaking of Nicole, the way you wanna play it is that you wanna charge up the white star first, then you swap into Nicole to debuff it, and swap back into Anby's and perform these triple special attacks. As for her gear, the additional attack 4 set is the only option. Thunder Metal and Woodpecker are usable, but if you plan to use it for long term, it's a cope. And for the 2 set, you either want to go for Woodpecker or the Branch and Blade song for the crit rate, crit damage. This number 6, you want to go for attacks. I highly recommend pen ratio, so you would have less problem on the stat saturation. Attack percentage and electric damage are also great if they have better substat. As for substat, it's crit rate, crit damage, then attack percentage, and you could benefit a little bit from penetration. And as for the team, you could mix any support that I listed here, and you would get a pretty decent result, aka Hyper Carry team, because she doesn't have a real teammate yet. But the best team are the one that I listed at the beginning of the video. I expect the best team in the future is gonna be Anby Trigger duo with Astra, follow with Caesar or Qingyi, and follow with any support that I just listed. The crit rate looks kind of low, because Deadly Assault would give another 20% crit rate. Her core passive and the 4 set would give her another 22%. So I'm gonna get like 105 crit rate in the game. My Astra is very standard. My Qingyi go with Swing Jazz. I actually has her signature, but I use the Lycon signature just to be fair. Nicole is also a standard Freedom Jazz. Halumasa use exactly the same gear as the Anby. And yeah, let's get into the run. So I built up the silver star with Anby's, then keep using the special quick assist. And I'm gonna use one of the silver star because so that my ultimate could line up with my first stun. So yeah, my Anby built my second silver star, and now we are about to line up with the stun window. And I cancel chain attacks here to get the Astral Voice buff to get the most damage out of it. And now that's 6 slash. And after I finish my 9 slash, I immediately get into the ult and get my sweet 12 slash in one stun window. And I don't think I use any silver star outside of the stun window after my first stun, because I'm trying to do as much daze as possible to rush for the 4th stun. Now let's get into the second stun. I mess up a little bit, then I start the chain attacks with Qingyi, get the buff from the swing jazz, and got 6 slash in the stun window. And I keep inflicting daze and use Astra ultimate also to get more daze. And now that third window, I use Astra chain attack swap cancel. I use cancel chain attack here to get the quick assist on Anby. And here's gonna be 9 slash in this stun window with ultimate. My Qingyi keep dealing daze and follow with ultimate to get as much daze as possible. And I swap to Anby's to build up the silver star here. And quick assist back into Qingyi to get the final stun. And now we got our 9 slash here. Big slash, I basically attack a little bit to get extra energy. And yeah, that's 9 attacks. Pretty proud of this run. I know that this is not the best run out there, but I'm pretty proud of it. The idea behind playing Nicole team is actually pretty simple, but it could be pretty hard to manage, because you kind of have to remind yourself to debuff with Nicole, and it's actually quite repetitive, so I'm just gonna cut most of the part out. So I got my ultimate at 70 days, so I decide to keep it and start saving for the energy to utilize them in its stun window. I keep attacking with Anby's and finally stunned it. I start chain attacks with Nicole for the swing jazz buff. I got back to Nicole again to get all the debuff and began to do all the slash. So that's the 6 slash. But before the 6 slash, I debuff with Nicole again. That's 9 slash. Yep, that's a failed 12 slash, but it's worth it for the Nicole's debuff. I mess up a little bit here and try to get my silver star ready and start the chain attack with Nicole again. Getting quick assist from Astra cancelled. I should have chain attack into Nicole here for the longer buff. Now 3 slash. Then swap to Nicole for debuff into 6 slash. And that's 9 slash. I pops it with Nicole again to get the other 3 slash outside of the stun window and try to deal as much damage as possible. I guess I will be doing Halumasa guide on my next video. When I look back at my Halumasa gameplay, there's a lot of noticeable mistakes that I'm kind of too embarrassed to share, but the run is still better than my Anby's, especially after I watched some of the Halumasa's pros videos. But I will just leave my gameplay on the last few seconds for the record. Like and sub if you find that helpful, and see you guys.